Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the ITGS Committee. My name is John Lee. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'm joined by my colleague, Councilmember Monica Rodriguez. I guess we will start by hearing general comment. Let's see, Corey Schmidt, I believe you asked to speak on a couple of the items and then 1 minute for public comment, so 3 minutes total. Not here, okay. Wayne. Wayne, are you here? He's here. All right.
I was waiting for my mommy. Mommy Monica. Okay. So let's see here. Good. So we have to try to break in the new councilman. So I don't want to scare you off just yet. So that's it. See, for those of you here, John Lee just got nominated to this position. So he doesn't know much about these meetings. So now, let's see. CD1, Gil Cedillo, Stadium Way. I support it. So let's see. CD number 2, Harris Dawson. He's a pimp. We don't support that. Number 3, Herb Wesson, GSD Aging. No! Everything Herb Wesson does is poison. Vote no. Then we get Mommy Nuri, CD6. She want to steal something. Oh, that's the fire station. A budget of $600,000. So what Nuri's doing right now, she's building a new fire station. So it's overpriced, and John Lee has already sent a referral to the FBI. Thank you so much for that. Number 6. Now we get Mike Bonin. Mike Bonin is the worst city councilman in the world. Now he wants to get donations for the library. He's surrounded with homelessness. Wherever you are, Mike Bonin, you're a fucking faggot. You're no good. You're no good, Mike Bonin. Now, you know what they're doing in the newspaper, John Lee? Now Mike Bonin's not going to let homeless encampments in Venice. They're not going to let them sleep on the streets now. See, he little phony. Number 6, GSD. Oh, man, that's why they put you in charge of this committee, because it's fucking boring. Now we get number 8, City Planning, Schedule DSP. Raise your hand if you know what it is. I know what it is. Oh, you know what it is, Monica? What is it? It's about stealing money and calling it historic resources. So we support it. And number 10, records disposition, destruction of records. Yes, we support cover-ups. Now, what you got to remember here is that this committee does absolutely nothing. It's redundant. It isn't needed. And that's why Herb Wesson put you, John Lee, in this chair. But I know you're going to be here for a very short time, because in March 2020, you're going to get voted out of office. John Lee is going to become the shortest tenured city council member in the history of Los Angeles City, because all those anti-Trump voters are going to kick your ass out. So I'm supporting the Democrat. Long live the late Greg Smith. He passed away. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wayne. Eric Previn.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn from Studio City. This is the Information Technology and General Services Committee. I took a look at the agenda, obviously, and I take note of LAFD Foundation, which is a private group that's going to be getting a low rent opportunity. Now, everybody loves the LAFD, including me and Ms. Rodriguez, but certainly on 9/11, it is a day of respect. And I don't have a problem, making some space available, but I think that in light of that UFLAC should restrain themselves from giving to any of the campaigns, because it really, what it does is it sends a weird signal when you guys are all bought off by the LAFD regularly and routinely. I don't think anybody wants to dispute that every council member who's on the inside gets a very handsome election package that includes often tens of thousands of dollars of stuff through independent expenditure. So I think that if we're going to be giving, it's a little weird. And also these foundations are a way of ingratiating decision makers in the fire department, police department to make decisions that are contra public interest. Like, for example, Motorola Solutions, your group that you're very familiar with, I know, Mr. Lee, and so are you, Ms. Rodriguez, and Englander, Kanabi, and Allen. And this is a group that has been ripping the public off on a routine basis for a long period of time. And we just think that, by constantly kerplunking Motorola into that foundation, this sets up a bad situation for the public to get a fair reason. We want the firemen to do their jobs, we want to be respected, and to have the time they need to do it. On item number 8 and 10, these are both having to do with it's called disposition schedule. I suppose Avak got his hands on it. It's supposed to be called retention schedule because public records, like for planning, historic resources, I think on number 10, you've got public works. Big important records are only kept for so long. And that's reasonable, but how long? And in this modern era, shouldn't they really be kept in perpetuity? Now, I've looked into this because I'm an open government guy who cares about transparency, and sometimes you have to look a little further back to see how is it that Greg Smith was allowed to sit in the chair you're sitting in now, even though he lobbied to the tune of $180,000 for USA Waste Management. Seems there was a ban on that, but he did it anyway, so we want to go back and look at the records, but if the records are gone, we can't. Now, where does this take place? For example, the LA Metro, the city county board. Everybody has their own retention schedules. At Metro, it blanched a resident's mustache when it was revealed that emails, routine emails, like, dear Mr. Krikorian or dear Metro Director, we would like a porta potty at our Metro station. That email is destroyed after 30 days. How is that in the public's interest at all? So it's not. The reason why it was approved is because, like in a meeting like this, when nobody's around and people are kind of falling asleep, they say, let's just shorten everything. So when I discussed it with your city attorney, who's doing a great job, he couldn't explain to me because there was no time, to be fair to him. But the document that you've got posted and attached to item 8 is incoherent by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd ask you to delay this or look closely at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reverend. Mr. Arnold Sachs.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Arnold Sachs for the record. I held a couple of items here. By the way, congratulations. I am somewhat surprised that, not that you're on the committee, but that you are actually the chair of the committee. I can appreciate, I guess you must be very knowledgeable in this items. Usually you would think that somebody who hasn't been in office, and this is your first political office, would defer to somebody. I don't know, they change elected officials here all the time, but a little bit more knowledgeable of some of the programs. Anyway, that being said, good luck with your tenure. I held item number 2. So you just came from a meeting downstairs where they talked about they want to close the community center on Crenshaw Boulevard, so that this item refers to a contract with the Watts Labor Community Action Committee that's located at 50, and this space is at 5133 South Crenshaw Boulevard. So you're closing one center that's been around for 25 years in favor of another center that, what? I don't know. I held item number 4. I'm wondering, will they be using the GIS system to locate these hydration stations? And by the way, who writes these items? Hydration systems. Aren't they water fountains? Yeah, they're water fountains. I'm telling you. Shout out to the editors for writing the writing that goes on here. And item number 5, there's a couple things I could talk about this, but what really is important here is the Municipal Improvement Corporation bonds that are located here. Why aren't they used for more things? You know, in the county yesterday they had public works, public housing, and a public works department funding, public and public. They should put them together.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. With my colleagues' approval, I'd like to take items 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on consent. With no objections, that'll be the order. And now we can hear item number
Well,
4 unless
one
we
moment,
got
one
here,
moment, Chair.
like-
One moment, Chair.
Sure.
Just so, was there more public comments? It's at your discretion, Chair. His name was called, but he wasn't here, but he's here now.
Oh, Corey Schmidt? Yeah, sure.
How you doing? Okay, Corey Schmidt for the record. I was next door. Sorry, I'm late. Okay, so just wanted to give my input real quick. Information technology. Okay, so number 1 for office space for the fire department, I say yes. Multi-purpose center usage for numbers 2 and 3, I say yes as well. The hydration stations for number 4. I like that idea. I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that, just because water is such a necessity, especially for the homeless, people that don't have access to it. So to make that available, I really think that that's a great idea. Number 6, in regards to the library and Palisades, yes. And I'm excited about number 7, the bikeway for the expo line. Cool to get that thing going. And then the rest, I think that should be good. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schmidt. Mayor Carter, is there an item you'd like to speak on?
Good afternoon, Councilmember Lee. No, I think I've addressed with your staff the technical correction that needs to happen on item number 5.
Yeah.
So we're just changing the address. As you may know, there's a new Fire Station 39 being built, and so we've swapped the addresses. So it just needs to be updated.
Okay, so recommendation, revise the address related to item number 5. You have that, correct? 14415 Sylvan Street. I guess the current address is misstated.
That's correct.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, sir.
So now we can hear item number 4.
Item number 4, Mr. Chair, is a joint report from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and the Department of Recreation and Parks and the GSD relative to the feasibility of expanding publicly accessible hydration stations at parks and municipal facilities as initiated by motion Rodriguez Martinez.
Well, I will allow my colleague who introduced this motion to take the lead on this one.
Terrific. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Good afternoon, ITGS committee members. Raul Leon with Department of Recreation and Parks.
Good afternoon, Serge Haddad from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power Water Quality Division.
Good afternoon, Mark Roussel with GSD Building Maintenance Division.
Terrific. If one of you would like to just kind of delve in a little bit on the details of the report and where we are in the process of doing the installation of the hydration stations.
Sure. I'll be happy to speak first. So we've been working very hard with our sister agencies in Rec and Parks and GSD to develop a program that expands our hydration station program. There's a couple of goals that we're trying to meet, a few goals actually. One is to promote public acceptance of drinking water. Another is to increase public accessibility to that drinking water. And then third is to reduce plastic bottle waste. We believe that those initiatives require more drinking water fountains throughout the city. There's been a number of initiatives, including from Council District 7. Councilmember Monica Rodriguez put a motion out there for us to collaborate together, which kicked off this initiative. Then the mayor's sustainability goals and then Green New Deal came out with an additional 200 sites by 2035. So there's a lot of overlapping parallel activities that are going on with that. And to date, I think each agency has made a lot of progress in putting forth a plan or actually constructing some hydration stations in the city, as well as us drafting 2 memoranda of understanding so that we can differentiate what the roles and responsibilities are between each agency so that this vehicle can keep us moving forward. So hopefully that
Yep.
does it. Okay.
Terrific. Thank you. That's a great synopsis. What I do want to ask a question on, and I know we've separately, my staff has talked about it. Have you engaged animal services at all to perhaps, or actually it would be Rec and Parks, right, for the dog parks to see if there's facilities that we might be able to avail at some of those facilities that can accommodate water for the pets?
I don't think that we have, but we can do that. We can do that.
I think especially, or even at some of the parks, I'd love to pilot that in my district in particular, where we have a lot of families that are, walking their pets, and to provide that kind of accommodation as well would be a really unique opportunity, I think, and welcomed one.
And GSD has targeted some of the animal shelters. If you look in the report that was submitted, we have approximately 50 buildings that were targeted at various council districts, and we've targeted them mostly at constituent centers,
Right.
police stations, and shelters. So there's several shelters out there, and we did that because they have the best mix of city employees and the public. So but those will be interior, not
Right.
exterior. So exterior is
Right.
I can elaborate a little bit for recreation and parks. I know that we have dog parks that do have existing, hydration stations that service animals.
Okay, terrific. And have we installed any on any of our at our other parks, just our non-dog parks?
I know that I'd have to get that information, but I don't know if we've installed outside of the actual dog parks that we have.
Okay. Well, I might have a couple of locations in mind, so we can chat about that.
I believe the report does mention something like 109 parks, and 62 of them were retrofit.
Yeah, but I think you were referring to.
To accommodate for the dogs.
Oh, only for dogs.
Right.
Our apologies.
I'm talking about a lower installation that would also accommodate them being able to get a little bit of drinking water as well. And I just think, because again, I love the hydration stations. I've got my reusable, and it does, help to eliminate the use or the more frequented use of plastics and the disposition of that. So I think, again, but there's a lot of families that are walking their dogs at our parks, and it would be, I think, just another thought and addition to the work that we're already doing. And if we're already going to be installing them in the parks, that we also make that consideration as well, to see how we might accommodate that. Terrific. And that was.
I apologize because I just took office, so I don't know if you actually worked with the council offices to locate where these hydration stations are going to be. So I just ask that if you can work with the individual council offices so we can have a feel of where we want these placed within our district. I don't think CD12 has one, even though it's the hottest place in the city. But we'd love.
I think Woodland Hills would argue with that. But yeah.
Well, but that council member's not here, so he doesn't. So.
Touche.
So yes, so we'd love to, be able to just give our input on where those locations are, stuff like that. So, with that, I believe we're note and file the report. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. So with that, note and file that report. And
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See, I guess all items are clear.
Yes,
Well,
yes, sir.
we adjourn the meeting. No, sorry.
Just, I'm sorry,
please.
Chair. Stephen Long, City Attorney's Office. I think there was some cross chatter at the end when there was public comments. So I just wanted to make sure for the record that the rest of the items were on consent and they were voted on. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I inadvertently cut you off when the other speaker was here, so I just wanted to make sure for the record.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.